Were you guys trying to catch people, Eric, or how serious was your drug testing from your point of view?
I'm going to be 100% honest here, and I've always tried to be honest about this. I think drug testing was something that we felt we had to do, was something that we felt if we didn't do, we were vulnerable. It's a little bit like risk management,
Right.
in a big corporation. There's certain things you put into place just to make sure you don't get sued. Not that you necessarily want to, but you have to. And I think there's two things that maybe three that I can say about our drug testing. One, it was something we felt like we had to do, not something that we felt we wanted to do.
Right.
Right there is a flaw. Right there is a flaw in the system, or it indicates that there could be one. The second thing that I think is fair to say, and is not a criticism of our policy or even the WWS policy at the time, but drug testing now versus drug testing 25 years ago, whether it's the Olympics, the NFL, or as an airline pilot, commercial airline pilot, are completely different things now than they were back then. Procedures are different. The number of companies that actually, because you hire people to do it. You don't do it yourself. You don't hire a couple doctors and put them on staff and do it yourself. You outsource it. So the companies that were outsourcing that kind of thing weren't very sophisticated. We relied on them. That's not a cop-out. That's a fact.
Sure.
We outsourced it because we didn't have a need to do it across Turner Broadcasting. It was specific to WCW. And those companies that we use really weren't very sophisticated. Therein lies another flaw. And then the third component of that was we didn't really have a discipline structure in place. And that was internally. That was our fault as management. My fault. I'll take that one. Because, A, we weren't that serious about it. I think we were trying to do it to protect ourselves.
Sure.
We just did what we felt we had to do, and there were a lot of, you could drive a truck through some of the holes in our drug policy, and that's not a secret, and I'll admit to that.
Were there, looking back, Eric, if you can remember, were there any, did you ever even think about, oh, God, when you walk by somebody, oh, my God, that guy's gassed to the gills, or, hey, that guy looks like he's, I mean, was it something that you ever thought about, Eric, or was it just something that, hey, as long as everybody's not getting in trouble and everybody's healthy, whatever.
You know what? In Turner Broadcasting at that time, in WCW specifically, Turner Broadcasting, while I was there, the company was really broken down into three pieces. There was the legal side of the company, there was the financial side of the company, and then there was the operational side of the company. And the legal department didn't report to me. I had there was what they call a dotted line in corporate structure. There was a dotted line, but I couldn't hire or fire.
Right.
I couldn't force. I couldn't tell people what to do. They were just kind of there doing their own thing. And they reported to the legal department in Turner Broadcasting at a whole different level than I did. Same was true in finance. I had no control, despite the urban narrative to the contrary and the Monday Night War content that's out there that suggests otherwise.
Right.
I didn't have control over the budget. That was something that was, I had a hand in creating it, and I had to justify either falling underneath our goals or take the pat on the back for exceeding them. But the budget was allocated to me by people above me in a division of the company that had nothing to do with me. So because drug testing came under the legal side of the business, I kind of took a Switzerland approach to it because it wasn't my deal. As long as I facilitated it the way I was told I had to facilitate it, I kind of let it operate itself. So to answer your question more specifically, if I walk by some individual and I went, dude, I've been around the business for 20 years. He's gassed to the gills. He glows in the dark. Come on. It wasn't my job. Now,
hey, I'm
that
with
sounds
you on that.
sounds horrible.
It's not.
Maybe a flaw, but the structure that I was working within at that time is what it was. And I'll use the word guilty. I was guilty of that.
I choose not to look at it that way, Eric, because I just think that if a guy's not hurting anyone and they're not a danger to anyone else, they should be able to put whatever they want in their bodies. But that's a whole nother conversation, I guess. Wow. Well, you guys want to jump in here or what?
Yeah, we have